Hi, I'm Kayla from Walkie, Talkie Speech Therapy. Please subscribe as I am posting new videos weekly about how-tos for parents of late talkers. I cover speech and language, play, social skills, potty training, and today I'm covering tantrums. So I have 5 tips to share with you that I have used personally for over 8 years, and I have witnessed my mother use and my grandmother and lots of other mothers as well. So I hope you find these helpful. Tip number 1 is to distract. If your child's upset about something that he can't have or can't do at that moment, distract him with something else. And this is, for the most part, music for me. I have a relaxing, calming song. Here's a link for some songs that I use with my kids. And I really like the phonic song. It's really soft and relaxing, and the kids like it, and they like watching it, so they usually just stop crying and they watch the video, and then when the 3-minute video is done, then we can move on with whatever we need to move on, and they've usually forgotten about what they're upset about. Now, disclaimer, I want you to be careful of trying to distract, but not bribing. Okay, so that's tip number 2. Avoid bribing. Don't let your child win, right? You know, don't give in to the manipulation of the tantrum, okay? It's really hard, I know, and I've been there where it's like, I just want to give in, but don't, because remember, you're not just raising a 2-year-old right now. You're raising, you know, a future 8-year-old and 12-year-old and 16-year-old, and you want to make sure that your child learns from early on that you can't be manipulated. So be careful, avoid the bribing, and really avoid things like candy, okay? I'm going to avoid giving candy to a child just to get them to stop crying. Yeah, it usually works, but the problem is candy, sugar. Sugar is rewarding to the brain. It is literally using a chemical to tell the brain, wow, I just got rewarded. Woohoo, I like that. I like sugar. I cried and I got sugar. I'm gonna cry more. Don't do it, because they'll learn. They are smart and they learn. I cry, I get candy. So be careful of that, okay? Avoid that. Avoid the bribing, avoid the candy, and most importantly, tip number 3, be consistent, right? We're not just raising a 2-year-old, we're raising that teenager, so they need to learn that when mommy says no, mommy says no. I use that phrase all the time. I use Kayla says no. And that's how it is, okay? And it's tough, but they learn. They really do, and it's important for them to trust you. And there's a certain amount of security that children get from knowing what to expect. So if the rules are consistent, if mom and dad and all the caretakers are consistent, then they know, and they're gonna stop. Eventually, you know, testing because they know mom said no. I call this tip, don't watch the show. And the show is the tantrum, because that's really what it is, right? They're putting on a show, a big dramatic stomping and all of those things. Watch my future video. I'll post a link when it's up about how to deal with aggressive behavior, okay? I've got some tips to work on that. But the show, don't watch it. Don't be an audience member. Literally turn away, okay? And this is actually written about in books, okay? They call it different things, but I call it don't watch the show. Turn away from the tantrum. You do something else, okay? Go ahead and distract. We talked about that tip. Distract. You go play bubbles, or you go listen to a song, and you enjoy that song on your tablet, and you start singing it and having fun. And guess what? I'm telling you, I see it happen all the time. The kids, they get bored. They're realizing, uh-oh, mom's being consistent again. She really means no. Look, she's having fun over there. She's blowing and popping those bubbles. All right, I give up. And they give up, and they come over and they start playing or watching the video with you. Sometimes they'll stop the crying just for a little bit, and then they'll pick right back up. So what I usually do is I count to 5 in my head as I'm distracting and having fun and on my own over here. And then if I hear them stop and I count to 5 in my head, then I might turn to them and I might say, oh, are you ready? Why don't you come? And I use a really soft, calming voice. And I'm not talking about the crying or reminding them of what they're upset about. I'm just saying, are you ready to come? Come on. Now, I'm not going to beg the child. I'm going to say, come on, please come. Come on, come on, come on, right? You know, because I don't want them to think that they have the power, right? Okay, we're not going to let them manipulate. So you want to come? Come on. You can encourage them, but not beg them, of course. And most likely they'll come over and they'll forget about it. But if they pick up their tantrum again, all right. Okay, all right. And then you just go back and you have your fun with whatever you're doing. Now, I want to put in a disclaimer. Of course, you're the parent, so you know the difference between a fake cry and a real cry. Well, sometimes kids, they really do work themselves up. They started with a fake cry and now they really are physically upset. And for some kids, they're not very good at self-soothing, calming themselves down. So let's say that we've tried the don't watch the show and we've tried the distraction and we've been consistent, but they really have upset themselves. Then it's your call. You know, as the parent, when it's time, and it's time for you to provide comfort and you to help soothe them because they're not able to do it on their own. So that would be, I recommend, you know, coming over and giving a really nice deep bear hug and use your calming voice, a big nice squeeze that is calming to the sensory system for most kids and helps them just kind of regroup and center again, and give some pats and maybe some rocking. Okay, my last tip is to reward when they have either soothed themselves or allowed you to soothe them. Okay, so when the crying is done, reward that. Let them know that you like that and give a little special attention to that. I say things like, oh, good job. I see you're not crying. I like that. Oh, that's a happy girl. You make me happy. And I just spend a few moments like talking about how good they did. They stopped crying and how I really like that. Okay, so give them that appropriate attention for appropriate behavior. Reward what you like. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to Walkie Talkie Speech Therapy. Thanks. Bye-bye.